After listening to you for almost a full year now, I realize that I do believe in everything you're saying. I believe in Source and on my vortex, and that I have the ability to allow the energy that creates worlds to flow through me. We like that. We like that you know that. It's what our work with you is all about, to bring you to that empowerment of knowing that. This writer goes on. The thing I'm struggling with is I know that belief isn't as strong as I want it to be. How can I come to that place of self-realization and really get myself to believe in the power and the laws of the universe? You got to let them work for you. You got to not contradict your own desire with discussions about how it has been or how it is. You've got to protest less and advocate for wanted more. You got to care about how you feel. And it's helpful if you catch negative emotion in the earlier stages, because then you don't trend and get the train moving really fast in the opposite direction. But no matter how long you've been trending, no matter how solid those flawed premise beliefs are, you can render them inactive now that you know how this all works. This question makes me think of the quote, you'll believe it when you see it. How do I get myself to see it? We want you to look at this differently. Wayne Dyer, good friend of Esther and Jerry's and many of you, he wrote a book. The title of the book was, You'll See It When You Believe It. And your quote is the way most people say it and mean it. Well, I'll believe that when I see it. But that doesn't get you anywhere deliberate. That just means you're running around observing and offering your vibration in response to what you're observing, whether it's something you want or not. But it doesn't give you control of creating what you do want. So everything that we say here from this forum, every word we speak, is about helping you to begin to see it and trend in the direction of it in your mind, not need to see it. You know what trips most humans up? They observe now. Most of their vibrational offering is simply from their observation. And there's a lot to observe, wanted and unwanted. But a deliberate creator focuses, pays attention, guides, calibrates, thinks to feel, thinks with the intention of first and foremost, hear this, and we mean this literally in this order. Your first order of business, your first order, the first thing you want to manifest is a feeling. The first thing you want to manifest is a feeling of relief if your train is moving fast in the direction of something you don't want. The first thing that you want to manifest is a feeling of improvement. And once you get good at focusing with the intent of manifesting, of accomplishing the manifestation of a feeling, the manifestation of a feeling, the manifestation of an emotion. Now you've got it. Because if you can do that, then you can focus there and you can take it all the way home into full-blown manifestation. Next one. I recently had an aha moment when I realized that even the down times when I feel I'm not in alignment are a necessary part of the process of relaxing into more of who I truly am. One of our earlier videos said that very thing. My internal voices said, trust us, trust yourself. Everything that comes to you is for your benefit. Everything, no exception. We're glad you heard that voice. You were in the state of allowing. You heard that. I felt the intent of the message. And I immediately relaxed about resistances I'd been holding. We have to say to you, that in the moment that you received the message, there was no resistance present. Can you help me understand more about how time is really a friend, benefactor to me here in this time-space setup? Well, you have a buffer of time, don't you? Isn't it nice that every thought you think doesn't immediately manifest? That gives you the opportunity of working the bugs out of it through your emotions. The manifestation of an emotion. If it doesn't feel good when you're thinking about it, it's sure not going to feel good when you're living with it or sleeping with it or arguing with it or are living without it. The manifestation, the full-blown see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it manifestation is going to be way more something to respond to. Don't you want to be aware in the early stages of whether you want to continue to activate or whether you'd like to deactivate a trend? That's what deliberate creating is, isn't it? You're doing well. Here's another. My question is founded in the wonderful "Everything is Always Working Out for Me" recording that I listen to every day. It always, never fails to put me in alignment. Thank you for that. And of course, you're right. Everything is always working out for me. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm a little embarrassed that you had to point that out. There's a part where you say, I want to know that source energy is always flowing to me and through me, available at all times. And I want to feel all right about not being in the vibrational vicinity of it. I love knowing that source loves me at all times, even when I'm not in the vibrational vicinity. I like knowing that that gaze is never taken from me. That's the end of the quote. Could you expand on what you mean by being in the vibrational vicinity of source? Does that mean we are in alignment? Yes, that is what it means. It means that, can we see the emotional scale again? Being in the vibrational vicinity of your inner being is from 7 up. Even boredom is in the vicinity. Pessimism, not so much. And then it gets worse going down. The worse you feel, the more not in the vicinity you are. The better you feel, the more in the vicinity you are. And of course, this is a tuning thing, isn't it? It's a calibration. Have you ever calibrated a guitar or a piano? You can be close, but not quite right. Thank you. Some years ago, Jerry and Esther here at this beautiful Abraham Hicks Center, they had an open house following one of the gatherings. And they hired a mariachi band. And they hired a caterer of wonderful Mexican food. It was spectacular. And the following year, they did exactly the same thing. And the band that they'd hired was a high school band. And now it was a different group of students because some of them had graduated and new ones had joined the band. And as the mariachi began to play, Jerry found Esther very quickly and dragged her off into a corner where he whispered to her, Esther, please go to that one. And he pointed at a young man and ask him to come with you because he's got to stop playing because his instrument is so out of tune that it is ruining the music. Now, that may seem a little strange for someone as aligned as Jerry to do. But Jerry and Esther had dreamed about this mariachi band for weeks. They'd remembered it from before. They know the thrill of that kind of music when it's tuned just right. When those trumpets play, when they reach those higher notes, it brings everyone to a place of crescendo. And Jerry wanted that for the 400 people who were at the open house that day. And so Esther went to the young man and she said, come with me. Is there someone who can help you tune a little better, or are you really new with this instrument? And he said, I'm so new with it. And Esther said, just pretend like you're playing. Get out there and pretend like you're the best player in the whole band. Just don't blow into your horn right now. He laughed and he understood and he remained their friend. And Jerry thanked Esther for her bravery. And Esther thanked Jerry for his desire to calibrate to the best possible music that could be played or spewed out into the atmosphere. And that really is what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about, is tuning to the frequency of who you are. You can get into the vicinity. You can do it. That's when you are in the best place of attracting to yourself. And it's when you are in the best place of spewing out into the environment for others to experience. Someone not calibrated is not very pleasant to the environment. Next one. Jerry's having a very good time with this conversation. He's laughing and encouraging and thrilled at the pertinence, the appropriateness, the hitting it right on the nose of the analogy. Next one. I'm interested in getting a fun car to drive. I found one that I love. I love the style of it. I love the interior. I love the exterior. I love the motor. I think it's a great value as well. Upon thinking about sharing the exciting news with someone, a thought came into me of a previous car that I was fortunate to drive that had the same layout in one respect of this car. When I drove the previous car many years ago, I had different challenges in my life. When the thought of the old car came to me, I felt depressed. Now see, this is the perfect conversation that demonstrates what we were talking about earlier, about how you think that you have rendered inactive things that bother you about a particular subject. And then something else comes to you in your life that makes you realize it hasn't been really completely rendered inactive. And so when the thought of the old car came to me, I felt depressed. That's your guidance system working. That's your guidance system letting you know that there's a bugaboo, that there's something still active in your vibration that isn't serving you. And isn't it wonderful, as so many of you have already said here today, that you now have an awareness of that. So what to do? You go on thinking about getting the new car now gives you depressed feelings. Is this just OCD? No, this is just doing what so many people do. They recall or they remember, they regurgitate with no mindfulness about how it feels. So what you want to do is just render inactive those feelings about that. You could take a card, and a small card, and like it doesn't matter, a piece of paper, and write on it, in your mind you're saying, I wish to deactivate, and then write what you wish to deactivate. I wish to deactivate memories that depress me about previous transportation. I wish to render inactive memories of challenges that are no longer in my life. I wish to render inactive the impulse to continue to refresh and keep active things I don't want to be active. If you don't keep thinking about them, in time they'll peter out. We know you heard that.